I'm joined today by two of my favorite Bay Area comics. Jordan Thewlis writes for The Onion, and we have Hayley Beacon, who writes for Reductress. How you guys doing?
It's the girl version of The Onion.
And I'm the boy version of Reductress.
Cool. I came to a very sexist realization of myself where I realized that
you only like hot chicks.
yeah.
I'm only banging hot chicks. Oh,
I'm so embarrassed.
No, but it's like I think any girl like 5'10" and above, I'm guaranteed to treat more like equally, just
Thank
because
you.
I've completely desexualized them because they're not even a candidate for me just because I'm short. You know what I mean?
And this is why I feel safer at night since I hit 5'10", and I'm not joking.
Are you 5'10"?
And a half. Thank
Wow.
you.
Yeah. So Murad, when you're like, get over here, Hayley.
yeah.
He's just saying this.
Sit down and put your headphones on.
You guys missed it, but that's what happened when I came in here today.
You know what? We did the sound check when I was kind of talking normal, but I'm remembering now that every time I try to make a point, I scream. So
it's okay.
Maybe I'll have to move that away.
Yeah. So, how you guys been spending your quarantine?
Canceling Zoom shows we run together.
Yeah. No, people kept asking me because I ran a bunch of normal shows pre-COVID. Why I wasn't okay. Well, not
shows.
Everybody.
I missed them. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would have.
3 of the.
Never quite made it.
I put you on 2 shows. I put you on Comedy Soup, and I put you on. I think you canceled the Booze Land, or did you come to Booze Land?
I think the Booze Land got canceled.
Oh, was it COVID?
By God.
Yeah.
And then actually, do we want to talk about that Comedy Soup?
Yeah.
Because Jordan and I were running a show at Legionnaire down the street, and you called him to offer him a spot.
Well, because we wanted to do a third spot, so we were trying to see if we could make it into the city.
Oh, because I had a horrible first set and I needed like a refresh. I felt that was the worst set of 2020.
Yeah, we were trying to go do a third spot in San Francisco, like a 10 p.m. show, and then you were booked on Comedy Soup, and you were like, "Oh, do you mind stopping by Comedy Soup? You just hang out for a second. You could do your." I was gonna just watch you do your set, and then we go together to the other show. And then right as we were about to leave, I got a message asking me to guest on Comedy Soup, which is super convenient because we were going anyway. And then we showed up, and my name was on the lineup, and Hayley's wasn't.
Rad. That sounds like us. Yeah, that was a very last second book show.
And then we never made it to SF for some reason. Then that show fell apart. And you and I had a long talk about what's wrong with me. That was actually really helpful. Is that true? Yeah, no, really. It was.
Oh my God.
On the back of.
Wait, like as a human being?
No.
I mean, like it starts there, but mostly as a comedian.
Yeah.
Which was really, really constructive. And now that's my association with your show. And
that's so funny.
You have never given me a spot, but I'm so happy to be here.
I have given you 2 spots and God canceled 1.
That's true.
Okay.
And
so I have you guys felt the need to I didn't want to run a Zoom show, and this is just me coping essentially, just because I never had any interest in sketch writing or any of that. Yeah. So it's been really frustrating not having a viable creative outlet until making this. But have you guys been making anything? I feel like I saw maybe some sketches early on, or you guys just living life.
That's Jeff's bullshit.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to kind of make peace with not making stuff, and I'm still doing some writing. I'm working on some pretentious writing projects, but I'm really trying to become comfortable with being I'm still a person who deserves love if I just chill.
Yeah,
and read a book. That's fine.
I don't know about that.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Jordan, you gonna talk about the panda thing? Or is that private?
The short film script.
Yeah.
I wrote a short film script about a panda. That was before the quarantine, though. Right now, I'm working on a big crazy.
Was it a panda drama or a panda comedy or a drama?
Do you want me to pitch the idea right now? It's about a panda at a zoo. Wow, this idea is kind of dead if I say it. Oh, it's fine. It's about a panda at a zoo who he's a male panda, and pandas don't mate in captivity. So they're bringing in a female panda to get them to mate, and he doesn't want to mate, and he's embarrassed because the whole zoo is being "Oh, you're gonna hook up," and he's like, "No, we don't. No, I don't want. I'm uncomfortable." And then the female panda gets there, and there's, antics ensue, and they realize neither of them wanna, and they just be friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, is that the story you wanted me to tell?
I like the details, which is that it's a 1-act play. When you said pretentious, that's what I remembered. And then
that sounds like just a short play.
It was a movie, yeah.
Well, and that it's people in costumes, and like there's a break room at the zoo, and like they take off their panda head in the break room.
I made Hayley read it. There's a lot to it.
It makes you think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was it like, what was that fucking, wasn't there like some Michael Fassbender movie? Where
Toy Story?
Yeah, that's the one.
No, the one where he was in the band.
Was he in Toy Story?
I don't know who's in Toy Story.
Okay, cool. Well, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
I was also told I say the word opposite weird.
Say it again.
Say the word for when you're really angry that starts with an F.
Furious.
Okay, she was thinking about it that time. So.
Oh.
I've been told I say furious weird.
Yeah. Well, I can hear you trying right now. Like I think you have to say it in a sentence.
No, wait, was that normal or not normal?
No, well, it was normal, but it was very much like furious.
Yeah.
Like I know you were really enunciating there.
I know I say warm weird, and I can't do it any other way.
Oh. Where are you from?
South San Jose.
Oh, okay, that doesn't make any sense then. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because my friend from Flint, like anything with IRE, like wire, toyer, fire, that's always a fun thing to get him on.
Yeah, I just say
warm.
How
does he say it?
Huh?
He says it like wire.
Wire, toyer, fire. And everything else about his accent is totally normal.
Was it the lead,
like, it sticks out. Huh?
Was it the lead?
It was, it was the lead. One time.
Is it all that orange water?
Orange. Oh, okay. You can't say orange either?
No, but Michigan.
You
need to talk to your friend more. I don't think he's doing okay.
The pop.
Well, he doesn't live in Michigan, but he came to visit once, and it was when I had bought, and this is very cool of me, just a very cool, neat thing about me. I bought 2 WWE tickets, even though I only knew that I was going. I was like, I could probably get somebody to go.
That's called hope. That's
to a WWE show with me.
Yeah.
And it was in Stockton. And he was visiting SF to hang out with me, but also his aunt lives in the city. And she called him, and she was like, "Where are you guys headed?" And he was like, "Stockton." And she was like, "How'd you manage to go to Flint in California?"
Oh.
That's a good joke.
Does she do comedy?
No, but
today
funnier than my friend.
Kind of. She's on a comedy. Her joke is making it into a comedy podcast. If I made a list of things that I would never ever want to do, I think going to WWE in Stockton is like high up on the list. Like that's like what a weird. Like when your friend was invited to that, I bet he was like, sure.
No, he was super. The reason I invited him was he was very much. If it's a new experience, he'll do it. Which
he's got an open heart and soul. I see.
Or he's on that hipster shit. I am too.
He is one of the like least trendy people I know. So I think it was like a genuine desire.
It's not what being a hipster.
Stockton-based.
Hayley
WWE
would go
adventures.
to a monster truck rally to roll her eyes and be like, "Ha."
I did go to a monster truck rally. First of all, I made a best friend for life, Mary Baker, and I didn't roll my eyes. It was the coolest thing. I had the most fun.
Well, when I went to this, I can't remember what the name of the venue was, but it had arena at the end. So I was picturing, I don't know, like a smaller Oracle, something like that. But I get there, and it's clearly where they have like the fucking demo derbies and bull riding stuff. Yeah. It wasn't a proper thing.
It was a dirt pit.
It was legit, like it had a dirt floor.
Dirt action.
Yeah, dirt action. I like a little.
Wait, they had the dirt out during the
No,
WWE?
but like you'd see mats out, and like one mat, like a corner of one mat was like laid out a bit, and you could just see dirt.
They might have had like a rodeo the week before.
Yeah, something like that. But
do you guys get how they have concerts in the same buildings as ice hockey games?
I don't think anybody really knows that.
It freaks me out.
Yeah, I don't actually understand how that.
I looked it up one time. I think they lay down flooring, and it's like tiles, and it's the same.
Sorry,
way
I was watching
they do basketball, and then they like have a machine like a Zamboni that like sprays water and freezes it as it goes over.
But how
I thought the Zamboni just smoothed it. I didn't know it like.
I think you're right, and I'm talking about how we're getting opposites confused again. How do you go from ice rink to concert? Do you just like melt the floor for a day, and then have a hot concert and then another cold game like 2 days? I'm totally guessing, but
Snow
I would think
cone sail.
I think you turn the Zamboni to reverse. So you flip the switch, and now it melts ice, so it drives over.
It still seems like so much water for like a concert venue to deal with.
See what a skiing competition is like. There's a lot of water.
That stresses me out. There's so many fires outside.
Now I'm wondering how they get all this snow inside those malls in Dubai. with the indoor ski resorts and stuff.
Probably
Damn.
like some kind of child labor situation of like.
Yeah, I went to Dubai once, like in 2008 or something. It was a long time ago.
Wow, that's when it was still just a dune in the desert.
No, well, it was like when it was like the most like,
Oh, really?
pop it. Well, I don't know if it was 2008, but it was like peak, like just
Inequity.
like there's just money on the ground
Yeah.
type. Yeah. And the malls there were so insanely packed that it wasn't even like you'd hear chattering, like you'd hear voices. It was like you remember like the white noise TV or the white noise sound on the TV when it's all static.
Yeah.
That's how many people were like talking and yelling. It was just like a like you couldn't hear anything. It was crazy.
Wow. You
And
just brought me back to the cafeteria.
Where?
Like high
cafeteria?
school.
Did y'all have cafeterias?
Yeah, just they
growing
weren't
up?
as populated as Dubai malls.
Just no.
Cafeteria.
I went to big schools, I guess. I learned that from your story about Dubai.
Did you ever have a food fight?
Yes. On the last day of 6th grade, there was a food fight, and it was not fun.
Really?
It seemed so fun, but instead it was like only 4 to 5 kids actually throwing food and everyone else being like, I don't want to be in trouble. And I got milk in my new Converse.
Fuck.
I remember there was big penalties for the food fight because they knew we all saw it on Nickelodeon and wanted to do it so bad that they would say, like, if anybody starts a food fight, like, we're going to hang you. Like, no food fights.
It basically was that, like, it ruined my 6th grade graduation. Like, we had privileges taken away, I think.
Really?
And that's also when I found out one of the special ed teachers used to be in the Army because of how he yelled. He was like, put down the pizza pot. I don't know. It
Wow.
We never
And you're
had
USA.
we never had food fights, but we did have a squad of kids that prided themselves on finding like prepackaged foods in the trash that like somebody thrown away. Like, yo, I found a sealed Rice Krispie, and it was like
they were poor.
That's called being hungry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was one of them, and I had an
Yeah.
adequate lunch. I was well fed. I was fine.
Yeah, I didn't pack lunches either.
Yeah.
I did that, but not with a group, just by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for us, it was like a combination of like, yeah, you just want more snacks, but also like there's a high score.
Yeah,
here.
I remember wanting more snacks behind the Safeway late at night in the dumpster. I would go and try and find more snacks.
Really?
Is that real?
No, I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Because
I know his lying joke voice.
It would be hard to laugh at that if it
nothing
was
good
true.
has ever happened behind a 7-Eleven.
Right.
That's where I tried salvia for the first time, and then my friend practiced an MMA move on me while I was hallucinating, and that was a very cool. It was a very cool, rad thing, and that was, and I because I hung out with a bunch of lowlives in high school.
Let's talk about
behind
that.
the 7-Eleven was a very common destination.
Are you like the successful one compared to your high school salvia group?
Minus, like, okay, let's say there were 10 of them. I think like all of them are like minimum wage drug addicts, and 2 of them make a bunch of like programming money.
But are they happy?
Happy? Well, none of us are. I don't think.
Perfect.
I don't think I might be leading in this. Maybe I'm misremembering, and I am leading in the success department. But I think we're all tied for last. And,
So on my checklist, I could cross off salvia as a key to happiness.
yeah,
That's
no,
not it.
definitely not. It's just I've never had a less. Well, it's weird because the first couple times I did salvia, and the first couple times my friends did salvia, we all had the same experience, which. You see crazy shit, but the thing everybody had in common was you couldn't stop laughing. Like you'd take a hit, the visual set in, and then it was like you were vomiting laughter. You couldn't bring it in, and you'd see cool shit. And then it seemed like this cool drug. It did feel weird. It felt like you grew like a second set of teeth, and your skin turned the same.
Yeah, I found it to be extremely disorienting but then for like the 2 hours after, I thought it had like a really cool come down.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
very
the come down's
high.
like a kind of like,
It's like a tighter weed.
Yeah, but then we all hit this point where we would try it, and we were just guaranteed a nightmare if we tried it. Like, so I remember smoking some, and I had like some music in the back, and it just sounded like a fucking demon was screaming the lyrics at me. I lived one of those like. Not like I had a full life or anything. I saw like a highlight reel of a full life, basically, that I had as like a weird NASCAR driver or something like that. And it ended with me crashing the car. And instead of people being concerned for me, they were all just really disappointed in me.
Wow, because you messed up.
Yeah. And also, I do remember, this sounds like so made up, but it's true. Like, I remember my parents being Dee Dee and Stu from the Rugrats. You remember?
Yeah,
Dee Dee and Stu?
Oh, wait,
Are
no,
they
that
The
was-
parents,
Yeah.
Tommy's parents.
Are they the
Stu
purple
Pickles.
ones? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
no,
of
but
Doug.
No, Stu is. Oh wait, no. If you're talking full purple, then you're talking Doug. But Stu in Rugrats had purple hair. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
That's what I meant.
that is what you meant for sure.
The first time I did salvia, it was like so intense. Then I was coming down, and it took me like a long time to realize that I was on drugs and that I just smoked salvia. And I couldn't even really enjoy it at the time because I was just in this different world. So the second time I did it, it was like 6 months later. I was with my friends and I told everybody, like, when I'm tripping out, like, tell me that I smoked salvia and remind me that I made this choice, because you forget that. You immediately are just somewhere else.
I never forgot
And
that.
then-
I did
really?
salvia. No, I never did. You must
Dude,
have had some crazy salvia.
I did it out of like a huge bong, like a wrapper. And then I like, and then the second time I was gone. I was elsewhere in a different plane of existence. And then I was coming back down, and I kind of like saw my friends, and I like my vision came back, and I turned to everybody. And I was like 10 minutes later, I was like, you didn't tell me. This was my one request. I've been talking about this for a week, that this was my big issue with it, and you didn't tell me. And everybody's like, oh, we forgot.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I've never done drugs.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, no one believes me.
No, I buy it
my
for sure.
personality.
Never
Okay.
No, I
drank.
100% buy
Never
it.
done drugs,
Okay.
never smoked.
But I've seen you with a beer or a cocktail or something.
No.
No,
See, you don't believe me.
no. I believed you in terms of everything minus booze. I thought maybe you'd have a drink.
She'll have like a
You're just
mocktail.
total. Well, aren't you? Didn't you tell me you're autistic?
Thank you.
That's not a compliment.
I shouldn't have brought that up in relation to you just never doing drugs, but is there a connection?
It's just another way I don't quite connect with people. No, it's hard because I realize it's trendy to call yourself autistic.
No, it's not.
no,
People do. No, there's an episode of Girls about it.
People
Okay.
From years ago.
romanticize
Culture
mental
checks.
illness so much,
And in general, it's
Yeah.
like people use it like I'm so OCD.
I'm so
when-
quirky. Well, and they think it thinks. I think a lot of, especially artists, think it makes them like this tortured, interesting person when you're like just an asshole who
Right.
can't regulate their fucking yeah.
Which like I am that definitely, but also there have been things in my life, and no one believes me because I guess I don't like seem autistic, but I definitely have had to like learn and memorize a lot of things that I do think other people find intuitive. That's also how social anxiety feels. So I don't know, but like I don't understand voice tone at all. Like people think I'm mad all the time when I'm not.
But you use inflection a lot. You like change your like you must have some understanding of what you're communicating.
It's like a program. See, well, you tell me if you do this. Like I like acting it out more
You're
than
performing a little bit.
all the time.
I do that. I do that a little bit.
I mean, we're all comedians, so that is completely something we think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I was talking to Gaula. This came up in the episode with James, but I was talking to Gaula about like a bad date I had. And afterwards, she told me it was like very one-sided. She had like the thing is I didn't realize she was having a bad time because she was laughing. And I don't know if you guys are like this, but whatever social groups you grew up in, I feel like I was conditioned to feel like my only value socially is to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like this instinct of like, oh, if I keep making her laugh, then she likes me. But then Gaula was talking about how
Oh, you're saying Google?
Yeah, I heard Google.
We both heard Google, but
no.
I've
Gaula,
already. I
yeah.
keep interrupting.
fellow stand-up friend of ours.
fellow stand-up
Yeah.
friend Gaula Fitterman.
I've never
was
talked to her in person, but I guess we're friends.
Oh yeah.
friend of ours.
Yeah, you guys go way back.
When you're on a podcast, you pretend like everybody's your friend. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Friend of
Bill
the
Clinton,
show.
great friend.
Great friend. Friend of the
Yeah.
show, Bill Clinton.
Jeff Epstein, we're on hard times, but
Hey,
good
I
friend.
wish
good
him
guy.
the best.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
What happened to that guy?
Where is he? Let's prank call him. Sorry. Google.
Oh yeah. So she was saying like as a performer, you actually like when you're performing for the audience, it's easier for you to feel closer to them than they do to you, because to you, you're seeing a bunch of individuals in the crowd, and like you're trying to get a read on different people. Maybe you crowd work or something like that, but to the audience member, you're just a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she felt like she was hanging out with a show instead of like a human being, and that show did not ask her enough questions about it.
This feels like a humble brag, but I also relate.
Yeah, that's not a humble brag. This is a horrible
No, I was
character
accusing.
flaw.
I was accusing you of being like, it's so fun to hang out with me. It's like watching a show. But I know what you mean.
There are a lot of bad shows. And
You know what?
It was a pilot.
Yeah, it was a pilot.
You know what's funny about that is that I think it has to do with your childhood. There's probably lots of reasons to feel like you're always performing, and I think I'm like that too. But I think that trait lends really well to acting, because when all of a sudden when somebody says action, you can perform sad, you can perform happy, you can perform mad, because it's like kind of second nature for you. And I think like you're good at acting, I think, because you perform a lot. And it's like acting is like, I think it's a Jerry Seinfeld quote that acting is the only art form where people can say like, I think I'm good at that, and then just be good at it. And I think it's because some people are just always acting and they don't even realize it, so that they could just do it.
Sometimes I realize it and I'm disturbed that I'll keep going with it. Cause like if I get in a fight with someone and I feel like they're not understanding like the weight of how upset I am or something like that, I am knowingly exaggerating facial expressions. I'm like deepening my, like it's not natural. Like I'll get a natural negative reaction and then I'll like amplify it, and I'll very consciously amplify
like
it.
I think I have figured out how to manipulate a lot of situations, but it's from past experiences. It's not from human intuition. It's all past interaction. But I also do wonder, like, is that bad though? Because you're just improving your communication. Like, it is manipulation, but kind of for good. It's manipulation to get your point across or to make sure the situation works.
I don't think it's
and
bad.
It's rooted in honesty. Like, because I'm not trying to communicate anything. I'm not trying to, like, trick anybody. I'm not trying to actually manipulate anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it feels like something's not translating, so I have to, like, really emphasize it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All autistic, I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny.
I'm a little OCD though.
I hope you have Rahul on the show, because actually, he and I did used to run a show together, and we think we have the same autism, which might not be autism, but I relate really hard with him about, like, he finished my sentences for me when we were talking about this once. So just go have the same conversation with him.
I really like hanging out with Rahul. I've gotten drinks with him and like a couple other comics after shows, like couple times, and there's always a point where, like, you know, like the hang has lost momentum, it's getting a little late or anything or something, and everybody else is, like, you know, just very gradually backing away. But every time I hung out with Rahul, he just called it immediately. It was like as soon as there were lull, he was like, all right, I'm going home, okay. And then it was just like he just dipped. But I don't know, I respect that because I can't. It's better to end it before
and
it
just
gets,
say something. I'm tired.
Yeah, basically. But yeah.
I get too tired to leave to go to sleep. Does anyone else?
Oh, dude, I get because I smoke a lot of weed right before bed, and sometimes I'll just be at my desk and I'm like, man, I just need to get that that laundry I haven't folded off my bed so I can fall asleep on it, and instead I just kind of hang my neck over my desk for like 2 hours basically, and I just can't make myself go to bed.
I have all these problems,
2 hours,
but sober. Just
okay.
so you know.
Cool. Well, that's good. I guess, is that better for me or worse for you? I can't tell.
I think we're both not doing good.
Yeah, I think that might be the answer.
I think we need more like
women in comedy.
We need
is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, we need more women in comedy. I think we need more like words to describe personalities, because people will like, and I don't mean this. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I think you might be autistic. Didn't I like concede this 2-year-old fight?
You know what happened?
What?
Is we were sitting in the parking lot behind Tacos Oscar, and you were like, I think I might be autistic.
And then I realized, because I've been gaslighting Hayley into thinking she's not autistic for years. But but I think that, like, my point was, though, I think that some people will hear a trait of autism and say, I relate to that trait, therefore I'm autistic. But it's like, maybe there's just like a spectrum in every direction of personality traits, and you grab onto some and you don't to other. And just because we don't like this guy, like didn't they merge Asperger's and ADD? I mean, I'm sorry, autism and Asperger's at this point. I was under the impression that people who got Asperger's diagnoses now are just considered autistic.
Is that when I hear Love on the Spectrum discussed, I always hear autism and Asperger's, and I was
it's being different.
Well, no, they will always reference people who have one of those two things, but they're on the same dating show. So scientifically, it must be exactly the same.
Yeah, I guess I was saying that, like, for so long it was like one doctor in this country diagnosed autism and then another one diagnosed Asperger's, and then it took a while for them to like kind of
that shows Australian.
There was crossover.
They're far. They ain't here. No, you're right though, and I don't remember which it is, and I don't even know how they were different before. But it is like the history of ADD and ADHD, where they're like, nah, it's one thing now, and it's this one. But I forget, and I did watch that show, and something that people have said is like, there's no way you can be autistic and do comedy, and I was like, these people out here are fucking autistic in the best way. But there's a character on that show, Michael, I think is his name, who is so funny.
Wait,
like
Dating on the Spectrum?
on Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, Love on the Spectrum. That's not a character. That's a human being.
Did I say character?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm writing something right now. I'm just like really immersed in it. You're right. There's a human person being.
I like this character you're doing where you're like apologetic for like this living, breathing character.
I don't normally
Hayley.
say sorry. Yeah, but Michael is like a completely straight-faced, like, you know, he kind of looks like he's scared all the time, but he's constantly making everybody laugh. Like,
oh, yeah?
And there's no way he doesn't know. So you didn't see the show? You just...
No, I listened to, I don't know why, every podcast I listen to, everybody's talking about Love on the Spectrum,
It's
Indian
so good.
Matchmaker, and 90 Day Fiancé. I've only watched 90 Day Fiancé because of my sister, and I don't understand how, like, my sister cannot watch a horror movie, but she can binge watch that show, and I
Me
don't,
too.
I don't understand the level of secondhand anxiety I get from people just not being able to interface with each other in these like really awkward, high-stake romantic relationships. I would rather watch the scariest movie on the planet than watch that shit happen. Like I roll on the floor and convulse when I see that shit.
No,
happen.
this is true. I was just trying to watch an episode of 90 Day Fiancé during work, and they were fighting about how to remodel a place, and I had to shut it off because I was like, work is way less stressful than this.
Yeah.
I would argue though that disqualifies you from autism because you're empathizing to such a degree that it's uncomfortable.
Autistic people can have triggers.
But also,
Okay.
you
But
you
not-
seem way more socially adept than a bunch of non-autistic people I know.
Thank you so much. But that also is like, and again, I'm not going to die on this hill. I maybe am not autistic, but I definitely was not like this till I was like 16. I didn't talk to anybody. Ask anyone. I have run into so many people because I'm from the Bay. I run into people all the time I went to high school with, and they do not either remember who I was or believe that it's me.
Oh, wow.
now.
You were just a quiet kid?
I was a quiet kid. It's not even so much how I look. I mean, my hair's different and I'm like huge now, but it's mostly, they've literally said they're like your voice and your like face. Like there was a guy who, like my expressions, there's a guy who, I knew Corey Fetty. I'm going to fucking say his name. I knew him my whole life. And I saw him again when I was like 19. It was a friend of a friend situation. And he introduced himself to me. And I was like, Corey, it's me. It's Hayley. And he was like, oh, when did we meet? And I was like, our whole childhood. And he was like, wait, like Mr. Shanks, 9th grade, you're that Hayley? He went, oh, I completely wrote you off. Like, I can't believe you're like a person. But he's right. Here's the thing. He's correct. I've gotten so many apologies from like people growing up because I'm like, you know, cool now. And Is this feeling sad? I didn't mean for it to feel sad.
Okay, now I'm more buying the
I'm
autistic
fine.
thing because we were both very engaged in enjoying this, and you read it
Yeah.
as totally us not enjoying
No,
it.
I
I'm on
want
board.
laughter or nothing.
Yeah. Now, would you say that it's possible that you found an appropriate way to package your trauma? Because it's something that we've kind of talked about before, but like kind of when you have like a kind of rough childhood and then you grow up and you're like funny and you could cope and you can make people happy, it's like you're like that used to like be a survival skill and now it's monetizable.
Yeah, no, because that was socially the only way I survived socially was making people laugh. But I've been bringing this up with a lot of comics because my psychiatrist brought up something very interesting. And he was trying to get me to talk more about my family, and I actually have like a good relationship with my family. So I was like, no, this is for therapy's for the fucked up shit. Why am I talking about?
Now I don't think you're funny.
Oh, okay, cool. But he was like, do you know a very common trait that overlaps between psychiatrists and comedians specifically? And I was like, what?
God complex.
A depressed mom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Do either of you relate? Or
Oh, yeah.
or a depressed parent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And obviously it's unfortunate, but you know, your parents map out like the type of
Shut up.
All right, I don't even have to finish that sentence. But I noticed I am at my most comfortable with a girl when I'm trying to cheer her up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I should see one of these therapists. That sounds pretty good.
So do you guys relate to the depressed mom thing?
Do you have
Depressed
depression-based pickup lines? Are
mom?
you like, hey girl, are you haunted?
No.
Well, now you do. Use it.
Now I do.
What's
Okay.
haunted? What's the
He's
second-
fine. See, that's the thing. No, Jeff and I have talked about this.
What?
Jordan and I actually do have shared trauma. It's pretty sick. Like, I didn't really get why we were friends until I figured that out. But I think your brain chemistry is so much better balanced than me and Jeff. Like, you're just fine. and you just like yourself and you just do success.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
No, no, I don't think that's true.
I mean, no one thinks that's true, but
yeah,
it's more true than me and Jeff.
I don't think I have as much anxiety as y'all, but I definitely have the depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get pretty depressed and low, and kind of like a listlessness and like an existentialism that's like.
How's COVID affected that?
Well,
you've been reading a lot about Wicca.
It's made it hard because I didn't have my traditional outfits. Yeah, outlets. I had
all my comedy outfits.
I had to adjust for sure, but I think that I was always. I think there's. I think there's certain kinds of people who, when they have a completely free afternoon with no plans, and I'm not talking about like after they've been working for a long time. I mean, just like in an open schedule, when they have no plans, they get kind of like nervous. Like, what should I do? I'm so bored. I should like figure something out. And then there's other people who I think more like me, who is like so excited, like I'll figure something out to do. I can find a thing.
If I'm bored, I'm miserable. I'm like, I can't just chill. I like if I'm bored, that means I'm in the process of ruining my life unless I find something to not bore me.
Dang.
I'm never bored because whatever I'm doing, I'm also watching 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah. Well, but for that's why this quarantine hasn't been that bad for me, because I get really excited by
boredom.
Free time. I get boredom, yeah, because I just like I get fixated on things where I can just open up YouTube and 20 minutes later I'll tell you the best bluegrass musician from 1985 to 1990, and I won't go in with nothing. After. Yeah, it just goes away. But I'll like something that also has been happening with just kind of like to this point of like fixation is somebody will like ask me to hang out and I'll have nothing on the schedule, but I'll text them back and be like, no, I can't, I'm busy. And it's because I'm reading about 1989 Venezuelan economics. And it's not until the next, and that's not a brag. I don't even get it. My point is that I'm fixated on these boring things. And then the next day, after some time has passed, I'll think back to that day before and be like, yo, that was weird. I was totally free.
This is what he was explaining 2 weeks ago when he said he thought he might be autistic.
Oh,
by
yes.
the way.
That sounds way more depression than autistic.
Well, I think
maybe
there is a like a cataloging and like a completionist aspect to the spectrum too, which like I also have to do to bring it back to my fake autism. I also have to like watch something from the beginning, listen to like the first podcast that's from 6 years ago. I with video games I have very weird
Pokemon
OCD completionist tendencies where it's like I'm gonna play a part of the game that I fucking hate.
I'm gonna get my money's worth.
So it's not even the money's worth. Just so the bar goes from 0 to 100%. I need that to happen.
Were you a good student?
In college, in high school, I was a mess. But it's weird. I was like really good at cramming, studying, but I wouldn't pay attention at all during the semester. So I'd end every semester with like a 3.0. And then I went to college and everybody was stupid and I got a 3.5.
Did you go to a bad college?
Well, I went to a very good school for journalism.
NYU.
No.
USC.
They rejected me. NYU. That was my first choice. NYU.
Well, I couldn't
what
even
an artsy
apply
kid you are.
because I didn't take the SATs because I dropped out.
It was the University of Missouri Columbia. Which is a very good journalism school.
I'm sorry.
Missouri?
Yeah.
Columbia.
Yeah. Because there's University of Missouri - other cities.
That's
this
weird.
shit drives me crazy when a smaller city thinks it can have the same name as a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Well, Manhattan, Kansas. Get over it.
Yeah. I went to Nantucket, Harvard. That's weird.
Nantucket, Harvard.
The same kind of school.
But it was. I think it's actually technically. It might be the oldest American university. It's like one of the first ever in the country. But it's
sure Harvard
like
Missouri?
Huh? Yeah, university. It's one of the oldest.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's not the oldest, but like the top 3 journalism schools were like it, depending on the list, it would change order. But it was like Syracuse, Northwestern, and Mizzou was the cheapest one, and I got waitlisted at the other 2. So I went to my first time to the Midwest was moving in, and it was a very big culture shock. But why am I talking about college?
Did you go to school with anyone who's famous now?
No, and the thing is I went to school. Almost all my friends were journalism majors, and of those people, like legit, one of them was able to become a journalist because that what was so awful about studying journalism when I did was basically the entirety of college for me of my let me start over. Like, so early on you do gen ed, right? So like the first year, you're not really doing a lot of your major or anything like that. So those 3 years where I actually was when Trump started his campaign. So basically like.
That was so good for comedy.
Yeah, great for journalism.
Great for comedy. Yeah, and great for, and it was just like, you were keeping up with like all sorts of awful coverage on all sides, and it was so soul draining. And then every journalist who would come and speak to us would talk to us about how it's like the hardest job in the world, but like the most fulfilling, but also you'll never get a job and you'll never make any money. But if you want to be a journalist, then fuck money. Like, and it was just like, it was like, I did like this, but it sounds like to be a journalist, like, because the thing is, what was so heartbreaking about it is you'd see somebody who's like a columnist for Time magazine, and you're like, okay, that's awesome. They got a full-time job being a columnist for Time, and then you like check out their portfolio and you realize they're doing like gigs for 20 publications you've never heard of, because that giant slot that is so coveted, even that's not paying the bills. So I like, with a journalism degree, like you can always get a job in PR, and then it was just like, all right, well, if I'm not going to stick with the journalism thing, then I'm just going to come back here and get like a PR internship with like, because SF has cool shit. Like I did film festival PR shit because
I bet that person who was a columnist for Times made more money using Time on their Twitter bio than they did from Time magazine. I
bet, dude.
Because that could get them jobs anywhere, having that. But
well, aren't you guys two highly paid comedy writers?
I mean,
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
it's true though. It's like if you have that credit, then actual paying jobs are interested in that aren't like marketing or just whatever are interested. But they I've been paid more by one gig outside of The Onion than I have by like a whole year of The Onion. Yeah,
and it was just because they saw that credit.
Yeah, or it's like easy for them to like say to their boss or whatever, like, like, hey, this guy does this, so.
And I'm on my second week of being a Reductress contributor, so I haven't done any of that yet. Yeah. But I'm sure I will.
I love Reductress.
I do too.
Yeah, my sister introduced me to it, and it's like the consistency of each headline is just fucking amazing. They're so funny. Like I think I saw one today of like woman dies of of social activism fatigue or something.
Like it was like woman, because now I read the website 3 times a day.
Don't give yourself away that you didn't read it before.
No, I just did the opposite.
Now you read it more often than before.
Is it normal to read it 3 times a day when you're not a contributor looking for your piece to go up?
I don't know.
I'm gonna
go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Woman.
It was like woman who made activist post.
Jordan
has social activist fatigue.
No.
Dies from. All right.
It was like woman on life support from activism fatigue after posting to. There's so much buildup and none of us know it, and so I don't know why I'm fighting to be the one to piece it together. Yeah, that was a great headline. Do you have anything else you want to say, Jordan?
I went to the dentist today.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool that you can afford that.
Yeah, my mouth is still kind of numb. I got a crown put on. Have y'all had a crown put on before? I thought that it was like a cap.
Like a hat.
Yeah,
with
like
jewels
like that
on
tooth was elected leader.
Isn't it?
And but like they took a drill and they just grinded down the whole tooth to like a little nub. Like they left so much less than I expected.
My dad has one of those.
And I got in there and
they fall out eventually too.
Yeah, I have to get my real one put in a couple of weeks. But I've had so many cavities when I was younger, and I hate the sound of the dentist drill. It's pretty common.
I love that sound.
Noise. That's maybe
I have a sleep app with that sound.
But I was like, she was putting a second shot of Novocaine, and this was like before we got started. And she's like, "Do you always need 2 shots of Novocaine?" And I was like, I didn't even realize you were putting in 2. Why are you putting in 2? And she's like, well, because I like came in with this tool and I barely touched you and you were wincing with your eyes. You were like squeezing them shut like you were in pain. And I was like, no, I was just scared. That was fear that you were noticing.
I'm just quiet.
And then later she was like using the drill and the sound freaks me out. And I had my eye, and I guess I was like squeezing my eyes really far shut. And she was like, is it the noise? And I didn't know how to answer that question like with a thing in my mouth. And she pulled them out and she's like, am I hurting you? And I was like, no. And then after that I got all self-conscious and I was like trying to like she was like drilling on my tooth and I was trying to be like, good job, like not show
Sounds
any pain.
awesome.
Like eyes like too far open, like looking staring her in the eyes.
Always performing.
Yeah.
Always performing.
Trying to make
That's
sure the
good.
dentist was happy, but she was like, you can't chew on this side anymore. And I was like, oh, that's my favorite side. I'll have to get creative and find a new one. And she went, oh, you're funny. And I was like, still counts. Dentist thinks I'm funny.
Didn't laugh, just stated it.
Yeah, she went, you're funny. Yeah, I didn't get the dentist points though. How are your teeth?
Not better.
Yeah, has your dentist
you had some
calling you back?
dental problems, I remember.
Thank you. Yeah, oh my God, it was in like January that I'm British and
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me
it
too.
showed. Listen, this is the most like cosmic karma possible for like the people that fuck the world.
Yeah.
We fuck ourselves through the mouth.
Should that be the podcast title?
Oh no, we gave
I don't need it. You can have it.
we accidentally left all the fluoride in India. God damn it. No good teeth for us.
Topical, yeah. But basically, the teeth on the top are in my sinuses, and the teeth.
So that means that they grew
So if they took
the
it
wrong
out,
way.
I'd have a hole in my sinus. I don't even know if there's an answer to that.
Can you feel it?
I don't know what's normal to feel, but I've never felt okay.
I just like wait. Can you vaguely? So it's like right here.
No, so it's like back here.
Back.
Your
there.
sinus is a big old hole. And then my bottom ones are on both sides in the nerve that if they operated and cut it, then my mouth would be like, "Nah."
So you're keeping these teeth.
Well, so far, so what they told me is that they have to cut each one in half and then let it grow out of my sinuses and nerves. Hopefully that's not like guaranteed. It's a guess. And then take the other half out. So that's 6 to 8 dental surgeries. And then COVID happened and they said, no dentist. And it also makes you super prone to infection. That's why they had to do one at a time.
Because that like strange back of the tooth sinus area is where COVID lives.
Well, that's
Right?
where they test for it.
Yeah.
They put it.
That's I've never quite understood this ear nose mouth connection because
I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's just some hoax by the
Prove it.
liberal media. It's like at the nucleus of your head. So it's like in every direction simultaneously equidistant. There's this center where everything happens. It's like where you get sick, where like the COVID comes, where your teeth grow. But it's like sometimes I don't know. It just all
I have
connects.
weird. If I blow my nose out of like just like I think just my left nostril.
Teeth come out.
No, it's weirder, dude. I'll feel like air come out of the corner of my eye.
Do
Yeah.
y'all feel air in your eyeballs?
A little,
Yeah.
sometimes, but also like I have fucked up sign. I had to get a deviated septum surgery.
Yeah,
like,
right. You just hated the way you look.
But
Yeah, it's called a rhinoplasty.
what's cool about I think my nose kept fucking
just
growing, so I don't think I got the perks there. But
Oh, they gave you a real rhinoplasty.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is I don't know what I was like picturing they were gonna do in surgery. But I didn't realize that, like, it's not like they were going to make an incision and then, like, work on my sinus. They go through the nostril. They go, like, through the nostril.
Might as well go through the open hole, yeah.
Yeah, they tilt your head back and just operate on you like this.
And you were there the whole time?
Well, no,
I
no.
mean, like awake?
No. I was super unconscious. But when I woke up, I just felt kind of queasy. And then I, like, straight out of The Exorcist, projectile vomited blood across. Like,
You're kidding.
I went, like, I'm not joking. I went, like, 3 or 4 feet.
Like
with
a
this
sprinkler?
of just a lot of blood.
Was
And
it nose blood?
Yeah, it was.
Like seeping down.
Because they tilt you up and you just drink it all. And
in the act of sitting up.
no. In surgery, just like
It
as they're operating,
drains.
it just drains.
And then your body's like,
Yeah.
this is gross.
That's not the drain.
Yeah. And then so like my parents like my family was in there and they were like helping me sit up. And I had gotten these splints in my nose that I could feel in the moment, and I felt them, and it felt like they were like, I don't know, like 2 inches, 3 inches long, maybe very uncomfortable. But when they finally took them out, they pulled it out, and it just kept coming, and I could feel it in the back of my fucking skull. It was terrifying. And it turns out they purposely told my family, like, don't tell them how long these splints are. Just tell them they just go up here. But yeah, I projectile vomited blood. And my it was the first time I ever saw like like my family have to like collect
Fear
them.
you.
Yeah, they had to collect themselves before they helped.
They're like,
me.
is that our boy?
Yeah, so like my sister's like helping me sit up and just dry heaving at the same time.
Oh my god! Imagine being the surgeon that did
Did
that
that
too.
to
So
you.
like the family walks in and you're like, everything seemed to go well, and then the kid sits up, vomits all over the place, and then the surgeon's like, awkward. That's supposed to
normal.
happen. Yeah, that's normal.
Something that happens to me a lot. People have trouble. It's weird. I've had a couple nurses tell me I have juicy junkie veins.
The guy behind 7-Eleven told you.
Yeah,
that too,
yeah,
right?
the guy behind 7-Eleven. But I get
Men can be nurses too.
I get missed on the IV a lot, and like one lady did it, and a bunch of blood kept like came out, and she, instead of just wiping it away and trying again, she like hid it from my family. She was like covering up how much she was fucking injuring me, and they were like, "What's going on?" And they're just seeing like blood pour down my. She's like, "Nothing. It's
Oh
fine."
my god!
Like, yeah.
You got blood drawn in front of your family?
No, it wasn't. It was just an IV to go in so I could.
Oh,
get
same
knocked
same
out.
appointment.
Oh no, this was for a colonoscopy.
We all know about his colonoscopy.
I have just our family just. Every minor medical inconvenience, with one or two severe ones,
You get a
have.
colonoscopy.
I
have-
just met your Russian doctor bit.
Yeah, well,
No matter if little Murad has got a runny nose, we shove a camera up his butt. No matter what the thing is, we give him a colonoscopy.
that story I tell is a hybrid of me and my sister, because me and my sister both had to get it, and like it's a mixture of both of our experiences. So that bit I have where I talk about the super shitty, like the doctor who's just completely socially inept, that was all me, but like my sister was the one trying to find Jell-O, and the guy like suggested, like was just like thinking she just wanted to party, make some Jell-O shots or something. She's like, no, I just no solids.
Thank you
yeah.
for being honest about that, because the whole scene has suspected that premise is fake.
Oh no, but my sister calls me out for it all the time. She's like, oh,
She's
cool.
just jealous.
Yeah, just it's crazy.
I'm on a Jell-O diet now. I can't chew on my left side.
Mm-hmm. So you're on a Jell-O diet for
Only
like 3
Jell-O.
hours or something?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you just ate a plate of sushi.
Only Jell-O and sushi.
The sushi.
Yeah.
How good was the sushi?
Kinda-
How were
His was better.
Mine was better. Mine came quick. But really quick, I asked the dentist, like, she said right as I was leaving, she's like, okay, no chewing on that side because it could break. Nothing hard. Don't eat anything hard. And I'm like, okay, because like, is that like shellfish or is that like chips? And she said, I was like, how hard are we talking? And she said, nothing harder than macaroni. And I was like, dog, macaroni is soft.
Yeah.
No soft.
You don't like
foods.
a brittle mac?
Yeah, and you're gonna like you almost let me break my teeth on the misunderstanding between hard and soft. Like,
yeah, that's not. Good.
that's like
Also, dentists are all fucking scammers, dude. They all
whoa.
like we switched. We had this one dude forever. It was like a solo practice. He had a band. He was cool. But then we switched to like this big dental clinic that had like fucking.
Was it Total Health Dental?
It's in Los Gatos, so.
They have one there.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing. So it's like it's got like they're like fucking 8 dentists operating at once, and every filling or crown or cap we get from this fucking place breaks in like 2 months, and I think they just do this fucking planned obsolescence thing where they need you to just keep coming back in so they can like.
I mean, there's a pretty easy fix in my head. I don't know. If
Get
you're
a new
picking it up,
dentist?
Hayley.
Yeah. No, but it's our family is split. So like my dad's convinced they're a great dental practice, whereas me and my sister are telling
Your dad's like chewing on a filling. He's like, I like that.
yeah. And my mom is Switzerland, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's just busy. I'm like,
She's
I'm busy
neutral.
working. I don't care
Yeah.
about my teeth. Yeah.
One time I had pins pulled out of my arm.
Who put them there?
I don't know, but
Were you
I
in
hope it was a
Slipknot?
doctor. No, I broke my arm when I was 10. And then usually I do this and I show people the scar and they're like, ooh. But I guess it's kind of faded over time. But it's like a cartoon, like a Halloween scar. I guess neither of you can see
Can you
it.
describe
No.
it?
It's like you can see the stitches and you can see the
Oh.
incision. And then you can also
Oh, is it one of
see-
those scars where you see the dots on
Exactly,
either side?
yeah.
Those are freaky.
Yeah. And then this is where the pins went in. And
Which
that's where
bone
they
did you break?
came out. It was like right here. Like I touched my bone marrow.
The one
like,
above your elbow?
Right. Yeah. Right there.
Ooh.
So the cast is like this.
You know what that one's called?
The humerus.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I thought you knew.
I thought
You
those
got
were
it.
the leg. I thought I was kidding, not doing Jeopardy. Anyway, I don't know why. I was 10 and not strong. And they had these pins in there holding it in place. And we got the cast off. And the next thing I know, they're just yanking out the pins that are literally in my bones.
And it hurts?
It hurt. Like, I just screamed like I've never screamed before or since then. And they were 2. And then they did it again. And the second one hurt even more.
Can you apply anesthesia to bone? Like, probably not, right? Like, or would they just knock you out, I guess? Why wouldn't they just...
Or like a local anesthetic, right? Like
yeah, but I
and like an explanation would have been sick that was happening that day.
Like, I'm pretty sure you can't just Novocaine the bone. You know what I mean? I feel like you just have to knock someone unconscious if you're going to do that to them.
I mean, have nerve cells?
Most of this podcast has been just guessing medical facts.
So there's blood in bones, which to me means they have feelings. I don't know for sure, but it hurts so much. And the blood that came out, I have never seen anything like it. Like, it must be a different body fluid that we don't talk about.
Marrow?
Because that's less of a fluid. That's more like rhubarb. And I did touch it. But
the rhubarb.
The shit that came out was like, it immediately crusted into what looked like a wasp nest. Do you know what I mean? Like a wooden, like a crusty, like it was more than just blood. I think that was from my bones.
Wow. So you think they like took your cast off and then they noticed there were pins in there and they're like, oops, we might have accidentally left some pins in there. Let me yank those out really quick.
No, I think the pins were there to fix my arm.
You want to hear more gross things?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With the septum thing.
Wait, is a deviated septum? My brother told me this one time, and I don't know if it's true. Is it when you're?
It's when you're ugly.
Is it when it's like flipped? It's like it's the wrong way. Like it's supposed to. It's like upside down.
No, that's ridiculous.
It's not like a baby being born.
Wait, tell me if this is a deviated septum though, because I shared a room with my brother for years and years, and he was a chronic sniffler. He would go like every 5 seconds, and I would go, blow your nose! Like I would get so mad at him, and he'd be like, I have a deviated septum, which. We didn't see doctors as a kid. He was just
Someone
guessing.
At school told him that.
My parents would give me shit for being like a mouth breather, and then
is that what it is though? Is it possible?
No, because basically the wall separating your nostrils, basically it was growing faster than the rest of my nose. So if you were to pick my nose, like if you went up here, you'd feel nothing, but if you went up here, you'd hit like a dead end, because like not a dead end.
Oh, like so you can't do cocaine in that nostril.
That's actually true. But yeah. But the thing is once I got the splints out, they said you have to do like a lot of nasal rinses because there's like a lot of like, like dried up mucus and stuff like that. And I like felt like this little like dried like booger thing, and I was in the bathroom and I pulled it, and like the splint, I could feel it all the way in the back of my, and I just.
I'm so jealous.
It was.
Mike, me too.
Just
what a satisfying experience.
The grooming.
I didn't even get to it. I didn't
sorry,
even.
Sorry.
I'm trying. It was like if fruit by the foot was stretchier. It didn't have the consistency of mucus. So I was just doing.
It's like if you popped
I was
a
literally
pimple.
doing this. Like
wow.
roll,
like
it was
a magician
or something.
Like a clown.
Yeah, it was.
What if you popped a pimple and it just you were like da 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 da.
So I've curly hair, which means when I like cut it close, I get ingrown hairs like really easily, which is like why I have to shave all the time, otherwise I'll just get a bunch of like bumps and shit. And also I have terrible facial hair.
Yeah, I can grow a beard too. I get that.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I can't. Yeah, don't worry. We probably have more in common.
Me too.
But hey, keeping it gross, this applies to hair all over my body.
Sure.
And I had a what looked like just a normal pimple in my bikini region. And I saw like a little black line at the top of it. And I was like, oh, it's an ingrown hair. I've dealt with this rodeo before, because I'll get them on my elbow. You get a tweezer and you just pull it out real quick, and it's actually kind of satisfying. But I don't know how long these hairs had been ingrowing, but like the rest of me was relatively well shaved, and then I pulled this out. It was like fucking 3 inches of hair that had grown inside me or something, like my whole life or something. And I pulled them out, and there were like 3 of them, and they were all longer than the rest of my fucking.
Why are we so jealous?
Why is it?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Why is
envy?
it so satisfying to expel something from your body?
It's just grooming instinct.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
like,
do you like pimple popping videos?
Pimple popping.
I hate
pooping.
I
feels great.
I can't watch those.
Barfing is awesome.
Barfing is awesome. Well, getting it done with.
Yeah. The post barf high. like the 2 or 3 seconds where you're like, mission complete.
No. There's a euphoria of like, I got it out.
Sneezing
of me.
feels great. Anytime you're pushing something out, there's one that's obvious.
Coughing
I'm not saying,
sucks.
But
Coughing sucks all the time.
I love coughing, and that's
well,
it.
you don't have asthma. Asthma sucks.
I love dentist drills and coughing.
As sounds and sensations. I actually do have asthma. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's part of being on the spectrum. And I don't like barfing, but I've probably done too much of it in my life. So can you build a tolerance to that euphoria? Is that what it is?
Yeah, diminishing returns on euphoria. That's the
what I
classic
have.
case. Yeah, you have to barf extra to get that same rush.
Right. Like 4 shots of barf in the morning
Yeah.
to feel awake.
To really
It's been a
get
very
it
fun,
going.
gross podcast.
But seriously, just about everything
Expel.
having a baby feels great, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's
only
what
euphoria.
Finally out of there.
the pregnancy ward, you're just hearing a bunch of
Yeah.
just like a
Yeah.
bunch of just sighs of relief.
Coming. But yeah, that's maybe the one exception.
Did I hear that?
Having a baby.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
left that one to the end and then tried to move on.
Oh no, I meant
it.
we were talking about how people in a pregnancy ward, if it felt good.
Yeah,
having
no.
a baby, and I
So
think
you're
coming-
not counting coming as a
Well, I mentioned that
positive-
earlier as the one that was obvious, but yeah, coming.
Oh,
feels
I thought
good.
you were saying.
Do you want to talk about that? Coming feels good.
I wouldn't. I'm still hoping to find out
Yeah.
someday. I don't.
You'll
Is it
get
cool?
there.
Do you guys like it?
Yeah.
Once God finds my soulmate, I'll let you know.
Cool.
Once God.
I'm gonna time out for a second because
Yeah.
like I'm getting a bunch of notifications. I want to make sure that phone isn't buzzing while it's recording.
That would be
Yeah.
so embarrassing.
Put it on airplane mode, my dude.
When
God
you
forbid
say-
that happens to my camera.
When you say my dude, does it make you feel like you're being less disciplinarian?
When I do orders.
Hey,
All right, bros.
fucking do that better, my guy.
20 push-ups, all you privates. Get in there, cadets, my guys.
So I make notes for like anything that I think could make a good clip after the fact. So I put a timestamp down for Hayley's fucked up bones.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
you know.
and gross stuff. Timestamps for all that. So that's gonna be good. Good content, guys.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can be vulnerable with us?
Well, I was talking about it with Caleb, and like I love podcasts, and I like really love those like tell all, like super honest human experience ones. And then push came. I don't know why I threw in human experience.
No, sorry. I was laughing. No, I don't even want to admit why I was laughing. I was remembering a headline that I submitted. It got rejected, so there's no brag here.
Rejectress.
But I said, I do want to submit to them.
Oh, that's real,
I
right?
said I can only come if it's the sound of people starting to cry on radio interviews. Okay, thank
I liked
you.
it. I liked it.
Well, because I guess we're the same. Keep going. Yeah, you like emotions.
You want it to be...
Oh yeah, and then like push came to shove on like the topic of porn came up in porn habits, and I was about to like go all in because I had a lot of opinions, and then I just had this moment of like, do I really want to put this out there?
Yeah.
Like how I might like,
Yeah.
and it turns out I think it's a lot easier said than done to actually be honest on a podcast, but I'm feeling
Nothing I've said is true.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Professional, always performing, very autistic.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me write that down. I'm updating my website.
It's also funny that like when like if a comedian has a bit about something that is kind of serious, like it's fair game, like you can ask them about it and they're happy to talk to you about it because like you and your porn habits, if you said all of your thoughts to a crowd to a point that you were happy and it got laughs and it calcified in your confidence and you felt like it wasn't abnormal, you were like confirmed by everybody else, you would be happy to talk about that on the pod because you're like, everybody feels this way. And that's like a funny thing about stand-up is it makes you feel not alone. Like you have these weird ideas, but once you talk about that on stage, you're like, oh, that's fair game to talk about. Yeah. And there's a lot of people in the world walking around right now who don't even talk about farts. Like that shit's real. Like married couples who never talk about farts, like just people who are like worried to like bring stuff up. Like
today, my coworker was talking about how she found an air filter during the last California fires. And she said she farted in it to see if it would work. And the light turned red and it cleaned the air from her fart. She put that in her corporate Slack for like 70 people. Wow. She just got a promotion. So I guess it's a type of confidence.
So it sounds like you work at a cool place.
I do.
If one of my employees said that they could fart on command, I would give them a raise. I mean,
No,
give them a promotion.
dude. I feel like, you know what? I was about to say some sacrilege that I actually don't. I was about to say I don't think farts are funny, but they are. And that's mainly because I run shows with a certain guy who we were talking about him earlier, who always thinks he's going to get away with it. He always thinks it's going to be silent. He always thinks like it's going to be
Well, that
stealthy.
part of the story is
and
funny.
then it's always the most comically loud thing.
That's hilarious.
And when you just hear it, it's great. When you smell it, it's
Yeah.
like all the humor's gone for me.
yeah, like life hits
Like
you.
I
Have to
always
pay
noticed that it was only my white friends growing up that would just rip ass right next to each other, where all my like POC friends would just go, you know, hold it in and let it out when nobody was around, like decent people.
And it's also farts are also like if the status part of it is hilarious. Like if your friend farts, it's like haha. But if the teacher farts,
Yo, it
Guys.
bleeds.
Guys, what if Trump farted?
dude. But that's the thing. This is like everybody. People talk like, oh, Trump's so funny. It's the status. Like like a normal person doing these like stupid
I've
jokes.
never heard anyone go, "Oh, Trump's so funny."
Dude.
He's just
No.
kidding.
No,
A
dude.
lot of people think Trump is
Trump
very
is-
funny.
Trump has some funny. It's unfortunate. Some of his tweets are actually really funny. Like
But it's
To
because
me-
it's the president tweeting it. That's why it's funny. It's
To me, his-
part of
status.
it, but also he's like, if he was just a weird, quirky, rich celebrity guy, he would be such a great follow. Just because,
Right.
But coming at from the lens of the president, it's terrifying. But like, come on, calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, holy shit, that is so like obviously.
Oh, I didn't know about
it was
that.
a big L for us to take and a very offensive, but also pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
To call.
Well, here's the thing is that I don't really look at Trump's Twitter, and I think most of the tweets from Trump I see are fake. They're like joke renderings. But now I'm realizing maybe some of those have been real.
A lot of those are real.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, like when he pitched the idea of shooting a nuke at the hurricane, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's
and
so
I think
fucking funny.
I think he was doing a bit.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm
And he
And he
realizing
forgot
right
in that
now
moment that it was the president.
is that I don't think I know Trump that well. Maybe he's not so bad.
Yeah. He's like turning
Maybe
over a new
we
leaf.
were fake news all along.
Dang.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, there was this vibe that like time is money and you have to work hard, and like if you're wasting time,
God, this
it's
sounds like a-
wasted.
Thinker.
And it's literally my fear when I brought this up, but that you're gonna, but like during the pandemic, like time is not money. Like we have so much time and no money.
Yeah.
And also the idea of time is money. Like what about poor people? What about the unemployed people? What about homeless people? They have time. That's not money.
They
though.
die sooner.
Time isn't money.
Have you ever watched, what was it called? Was it called In Time? It was like that Justin Timberlake movie where
Yes.
all the 1%ers buy more. Why do we
Yeah.
all know this super?
He used to like run to his mom
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
LA
yeah.
River.
I just saw the trailer. Did you watch the movie?
You saw
That-
the movie if you saw the trailer. You get it.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
what provides Bitcoin its value, is actually an extended lifespan.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but they go to like a loansman and they're like,
Mhm.
let me get 5,000 minutes. No, wait, I can't pay that back.
Yeah, but it's like that. The premise that like the more time you have, the more you can work, and like the more wealthy you can be, or that like rich people's time is more valuable than normal. Like a rich person, it's like, oh, I don't have time to go shopping because time is money and my time is so valuable.
Well,
It's
I
like,
mean, when you like, I don't know, when you're like a lawyer making fucking
that's what
$300 an hour or something like that, I can see something like that.
But-
But also like the time is money thing. It's like, I don't know. There are lots of like poor people who fucking work 12-hour days and don't really have much money to
Exactly.
show for it.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think you're right, Jordan. I think it turns out that time literally does not equate to money.
time
It's
is
hard-
not money.
It's
Yeah.
hard for me to engage on this because I didn't just realize that, I guess. But I'm glad that the pandemic has a silver lining for you.
Yeah, I mean,
You doing good?
well, no, a big part of it has been just like making peace with not being productive and
that's
still
been
trying
yeah.
to think like just like going a whole day without having anything to show for it is
Hurts.
like, yeah,
Hurts a
and it
lot.
hurts. And I'm trying to like,
Well, I mean, you remember that weird panic project I started at the beginning?
I was excited about that.
Yeah, it was a cool idea, but it was literally like, oh, I'm not going to cope with the fact that we're in the middle of a disaster. I just want to keep working because for the first time in my life, when I got to comedy, working felt really good. And I was having a fucking horrendous 2020 leading up to the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah, I was real bad. I keep saying this in every podcast, but because I'm catching up with a bunch of people, I ultimately have to like recount a lot of the same things.
Sure.
But like I had like January, I had my first like real bona fide like heartbreak ever.
I remember that. Yeah.
I had my car broken into 3 times in like 2 weeks, and one of the times they stole like a laptop and all my notebooks that I had written every set list down for every show I'd ever done.
That sucks.
I had like some like there was like a tragic loss of a family friend. There was like just a ton of shit, and the only thing that kept any wind in my sails was comedy. And I remember
Which was going pretty. That part was going pretty well.
Yeah, that part, like I had a bunch of irons in the fire. I was about to. I don't know if I was about to get like maybe get past at the Improv. Like I was like.
Oh, in LA or
No,
San Jose.
San Jose.
So I forget other people know what San Jose is.
Yeah, actually, but you know,
Yeah.
I should say San Jose Improv because I don't think that is the default the Improv to anybody.
A
Improv for sure. But basically, like I was so miserable and like, but I was like, oh well, I still have this, and then that was gone, and then like literally everything I derived self-worth from was like it was like my social life, my ex, and comedy, and all that was gone, and so I had to go right into like keep working mode. And then when I realized it was like totally futile, like you said, I had to make peace with not being productive. And then when I finally did make peace with it and I stopped being like judgmental of myself, like because it was so daunting to wake up every day and know there was such a low ceiling to what you could accomplish or do with it. And then once I finally did get to peace with that, and then like the protests were happening, so there was some like purpose, like then I hit a point in July where it's like, oh no, I have to make something or I will jump off a bridge. And it shifted from I felt like I needed to be productive to not be a lazy piece of shit to I need to be productive so I can be happy. So like that changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you mean like the difference between external pressure versus like
yeah,
internal?
Yeah, because I see all my friends like, you know, be skeptical with TikTok numbers. Like I find it hard to believe that of my friends, like my friends have a combined 6 million followers on fucking TikTok. That isn't translating to one Instagram follow. But I, you know, I'll take it on.
Yeah,
faith.
you're not bitter. Yeah.
But it is weird though.
It is weird.
You're gonna have a comedy festival here.
Not
And
a comedy
bring
festival,
people from
But-
Australia.
but like I don't know. Do you guys like your mom's house?
Yeah, I go there
Yeah,
every now and then.
Oh, okay.
My mom lives in a car.
Really?
I mean, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I haven't asked her in 10 years.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, last time you saw like her license plate driving away, and you're like, I guess it's their car now.
Do you guys want to know the last time I saw my mom?
Yeah.
I had no idea about this.
What a shift. No, actually, so she used to twice. She like popped up randomly when I was in college, because she found my address from my old landlord, but she showed up on my 21st birthday, or like a few days before, and she dropped off like a book about women's leadership, and then she drove away and said, "Don't get too drunk."
She told you to not get too drunk,
yeah.
and you're like, I'm scarred forever. I won't.
Like, I'm still sober because of you.
Yeah.
Is this a bit?
Man.
Is this a
And
bit?
it looks like we were fake news all along.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that's such a funny like that.
What the fuck was
like,
we don't even need to go back to the topic. I don't even want to. But what was I talking about that
Twitch,
triggered that?
or
Huh?
like, oh
Yeah, was it a Twitch show?
Oh, your mom's house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because my mom doesn't have one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but can I just follow up on this point? Is that like it's so funny that she projected her own lifestyle onto you. Like that happened, and I think I've told you this, but one time I was hanging out with my mom.
Our parents are addicts.
Oh, really?
That's like
Yeah.
that was the secret.
Yeah.
We realized
You'd
why
think
we were
this would
friends.
come up earlier in the podcast or something.
Yeah. Shoot, I just got self-conscious about this, like going online, but
you
I'll
don't
say
have to say-
something even
yeah.
more vulnerable.
see, it's harder for
And,
me because I still talk to my parents.
It-
Oh yeah.
I take a day or two to put these together. So if you're like feeling, just let me know.
So you can
Yeah.
end your relationship with
Yeah.
your parents,
Yeah.
like I did
One
tonight.
time,
And you're
one
good.
time I was like at a bar with my mom and my girlfriend, and I wasn't drinking, and I was just having a few months where I wasn't into it, and my mom was many drinks in, and I'm like, she said, be honest, and she asked my girlfriend that, she's like, did he stop drinking because he had a problem? And I was like, what? And she's like, be honest with me.
Oh, because she thought
Did you
you'd be
stop
on her
drinking
level.
because you had a problem and now you have to be sober? And I was like, you're the drunk one. How are you gaslighting me into thinking I'm the alcoholic in this situation?
It's like projecting a blood alcohol level.
Yeah, it's like
onto
literally
you.
getting on my face, like when she's
Oh
talking.
my god.
It's
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
tight.
but that's what I think. That's what's so uncomfortable about that is there's some kernel of like, you're like me, aren't you? You're just like, yeah,
and
right?
also
Like-
that parental like guidance, as though like she's gonna be the one to.
oh,
help out.
now you're mom
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
And
okay.
and my mom wasn't. She's not an addict, just to be clear about that. But my dad is. But one time my dad was like, it was years ago, and I was I mentioned him that I didn't buy an expensive thing because I didn't have enough money, and he said, "Maxed out all the credit cards, been there." And I'm like, no, I didn't max out all. What are you talking? I didn't max out any credit cards.
Damn.
He's like, oh, I'm sure you maxed out all the credit cards, and you know, in debt to the
Oh,
mob. Been
sir.
there.
Oh,
I,
I see a dent on your bumper. Kill another hooker.
yeah.
Sex
Do we need to have the
worker.
killer hooker talk?
I remember my first.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
do you owe
really-
a Mexican cartel $600,000? Like, man, I have a guy for that. It'll cost you $7.
Did you Freaky Friday switch bodies with someone? Okay, I think the last thing I would ask is like, I don't know. I was talking with James, and we both had a lot of growing to do as soon as quarantine hit, because like, everybody said like COVID kind of put a magnifying glass on all the country's problems. But I found that it's done that at a personal level too, because like there's a bunch of things in my life that were on fire, but I could just ignore it and focus on comedy, and then all of a sudden I had to deal with it. And me and James both related in the sense that like we look at ourselves pre-COVID, and it's like we might as well be looking at like high school versions of ourselves. I feel like I've changed a lot. I've gone through a lot of stuff the past. Do you feel much different from when?
Yeah, I it's definitely made me appreciate my friends more.
For sure.
Because before I so took it for granted that we all hung out all the time being comedians and we're just on the same show, and it was like we had parents like making play dates for us. We just kind of show up and be like, "Ha, where's the apple
You wait
juice?"
for that group chat, and you're like, I hope it's with the ones I like
yeah,
today, or
and then
something
you're
like
just
that.
like the plan. Somebody else like plans your hangouts for you, but now you have to like reach out to somebody. And now when I do see friends and stuff, I'll be excited to see them, or we'll be in a group. And then they'll be like, "Oh, I went to the store. The store earlier." And I'm like, "He said storf! What an idiot! He said." I'm like so excited to be hanging out. I'm like, he said storf! And then they're looking at me like, "What the fuck, man?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I have to be friendly. Like, I guess I thought this is what friendship was. I thought you make fun of people, but
Oh, dude, I have that because I have this problem where I think mean is funny and
Yeah.
funny is friendly.
Well,
You
and
know what
then
I mean?
people are
Yeah.
gonna be like impressed that you can roast them so good.
I know.
Like I'm doing so good because I got you so good.
I
just
feel
then.
like I've been roasting you a lot just on this so far, and it's just
And I don't notice because I am worse than both of you, probably.
yeah.
So I thought I was.
Remember my roast joke, the parents one?
Oh my God. That was such a talk about growth. So I used to not talk about I'm still not going to talk about my family that much, but I used to like not bring it up at all. And I do like one of my openers, you can assume that, no, I started to say that my mom and I don't talk anymore in like my Burning Man joke, but yeah, we've had conversations. And then when Nori had her goodbye roast, there was a joke in there that like, I have a friend who asked me after if I really was okay with it. He was like, it was Maserati. He was like, honestly, were you like triggered by that? And he's done tons of group therapy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell it. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell it?
Haley recently changed her name from Ben Marshigan to Beacon. It's not hyphenated. It rolls off the tongue a little better. It's Hayley Beacon. And my joke was, it's crazy that it took you so long to ditch your parents' name when they ditched you 10 years ago.
And like honestly, it is why we all like comedy, because once you like put something on the table, it's not scary anymore. But it made me feel like known, and that is a sign of growth because it's just not something anyone used to know about me. Also, I ditched them, but
yeah,
I guess
that's more empowering.
But no, but I mean that's almost why it's funnier.
Yeah.
Because it's still not fair.
But in a way, it's like the thing of like if you're in a fight with a 4-year-old, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. You know what I mean? Like you're like as an adult, you're the one being an asshole, and it's like this is like it's like a statutory ditching. Like it was your parents' fault. Like you were 16. What are you talking about? You ditched them. Like they were 15, fucking up.
But yeah,
it was their fault.
Thank you so much. I hope they hear this someday.
It will finally be like maybe I wasn't a perfect parent. Like that's what it takes. That's the straw that breaks the back.
Well, it's funny. Yes, this clip. It's funny. Okay, what you were saying earlier is like, I wonder too, if like a depressed mom is kind of the same thing as like a narcissistic mom, and those you can be both. But I also think there's something about like
my mom could stand to be a bit more of a narcissist. Like,
oh really?
Like,
is she okay?
No. She's like I'm very lucky. I have like a good relationship with my family, but like she's very like timid and not timid, but not nearly as sure of herself as she deserves to be. So I don't the narcissism thing doesn't register at all. I think. I
think sometimes these kind of opposite presences can have the same effect, maybe on like a kid, because she was weirdly like competitive with me, like. Oh. God. Didn't want me to be successful because she was jealous that like she went into a state school and would like tell me I'd never get into a UC when I was like 10. You know what I mean?
And
like
giving you women leadership books. Like
it's funny. Yeah. She writes the shit herself. What?
That's like maybe you were saying earlier that I was like you were talking about how I was like more healthy or whatever but I think that's like a difference because like my mom had a opposite point of like with school, especially where. Me and my brother, we were like doing our homework in like first grade, and my mom was like, "All right, you guys did better than me. Like you got this. You guys are smart." And she was like encouraging, and she was like, "You're gonna do great. You're really smart, but I'm not gonna help you. I'm sure your mom didn't know when your homework was due or what classes you were in."
Yeah, and they would definitely like brag about me though.
Yeah,
but in a self-serving way. Yeah. It took my 4th therapist for me to figure out that one.
Because
I'm like, no, she was super involved in school. She was friends with my teachers. I'm like, go on boat trips with the principal, and she was like, that kind of sounds like a status thing.
She was networking
because she didn't know how much you were being bullied. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And I was like.
Yeah. Were you ever like in the car with your friend's parents and their mom was like, "Hey, have you worked on that project? It's due on Friday. Have you worked on it yet?" I remember hearing that and being like, when his shit.
Oh yeah, they did not care about my grades.
I don't think my dad knows what grade I'm in.
No, my dad didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I had a mom.
My dad still doesn't know what I studied in school.
Oh yeah, one of the times my mom, one of the 2 times she dropped by David, she's like, "What's your major again?" And I was like, "You don't get to know."
Yeah. Yeah, only my 30-year-old boyfriend gets to know that, Mom.
I was broken up with
Richard
him.
Gets to know
I was just.
No, I was on my 2nd one by then. You're right. You are right.
Wait, wait, how old were you?
I didn't. That was just a throwaway joke.
I haven't done. No, you do know.
Well, I know now, but it's different.
My first boyfriend was 29 when I was 17.
Great.
Oh, I guess I didn't know.
Man, I felt super creepy for matching with a 20-year-old on Tinder the other day.
How old are you?
I'm 25. I don't look it, but 25.
Listen, I was tall. He was short. We both worked at Trader Joe's.
Match made in heaven.
I was mature. He
was not
an emotional midget as well. So
isn't that weird how the girls that are always preyed upon are always so mature? That's a weird trend where it's like, oh, she was so mature. It's weird how that always happens. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's real.
I was trying to say that from the point of the abuser being bad, not you. Yeah, yeah. I know. I think you're mature.
I was mature though.
Yeah.
I just want to make that.
You
clear.
were mature. You were self-sufficient at 16.
Thank you so much.
That's crazy. I didn't become self-sufficient till 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I thought you were saying 2022, and I was like, no. So that's your plan.
But yeah, I do get how like that. Like sometimes it says more about him than it does about you that his maturity was equal to a 19-year-old's.
You know what's funny is he was fat in high school, and I literally think that's the reason why he dated a 17-year-old. I'll explain. Like he became a bodybuilder.
Whoa.
Again, teeny, tiny, which I think is cool. Short people underrated. But he was like a little muscle man he's like a go-go dancer, like a model. Like he made money off his body. He got free clothes and shit. We'd have to pretend he was gay when we go to Diesel at Santana Row. But like,
wait,
an issue.
Okay, you were a very mature 17-year-old.
Yeah.
By mature, I mean like I didn't have stable housing and I was tall. To be clear, but
when you went to Santana Row, he had to pretend to be, because a lot of his jobs were under the
I don't know
condition that he was gay.
Yeah, I don't know any bars that aren't gay bars that have male go-go dancers. I hope I'm wrong, but at least in San Jose, Diesel hooked him up with like free outfits, which is shoes and matching underwear. So we like couldn't hold hands when we went in there. I was just like,
he should have hooked
friend.
your arm, like, you know what I mean?
He kind of did. So actually, I think we would have been fine on our normal
gay guys
behavior.
hold hands all the time.
Not with girls. No, but his name was Sugar. That's the only real detail that should be included. And he was emotionally abusive. Oh no, this is what we were talking about. That he wasn't over high school, and I do think that's why he dated me. And I know this.
Yeah, because you were about to talk about why like being overweight in high school would make you seek out like people
a 17-year-old.
Yeah, which is great because I was a fat kid during high school that didn't date anybody, and then I did a lot of bodybuilding.
Give yourself
I'm excited to hear
4 more years before you go find a high school age kid. And to be fair, I'd been like living on my own, working and in college for a year, so like my lifestyle was that of an 18-year-old, as if that mattered. But
you were old you must have been old for your age.
Thank you.
No, I mean I dated somebody whose parents couldn't support them, and she was like by 16 she was like a janitor, and she always felt like, because we had a mutual group of friends in college, like she was the only adult in the room, and I think she felt that because she was the only adult in the room.
Oh, I didn't have friends my age. Like I have one friend from high school I still talk to, but everyone else was like,
you weren't like, but you weren't impressed that he could drive, or you weren't impressed that he like had his own place, because that's often the story where it's like the older guy dating the younger girl, and it's like, I think she was just impressed by that you had your own room. Like, and that's all these weird power dynamics, but
he did help me get my hours for my permit, so
that's so
that
funny.
Was really nice, because
so
you have to be over 25.
Yeah.
No, but I knew about him like kind of not being over high school, because he did talk about it a lot, but I really realized when it was connected to me, because this is weird. Let's just call it a brag. But the first time he saw me in a swimsuit, he was just like, oh my God, this is just like prom where I got stood up. There's no way you're my girlfriend.
Wait.
He just said that out loud.
Did he go to swimsuit prom?
I don't think that's an appropriate joke prom. For how hurt this man was. Jesus. I'm just kidding. No, he said that to me another time.
What about you in a swimsuit?
Because I was like I don't know. It was just like, I can't believe anyone would.
Maybe pretty girl. That's it.
Christina, who broke his heart in high school.
Like
he's projecting her onto him.
I think that was her name. That's really.
Are you fucking serious?
I feel like it was.
I felt like it was too.
This is when the host like researches before, but slips it in.
Are you a Taurus? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
No. Okay.
My fucking mom is.
Okay.
No, and then another time, because we both actually, it's weird because we grew up down the street from each other, like a block away, which makes it sound like it was more planned, his finding me, than I think it was. But we had the same teachers, went to the same school, and we went to the same roller rink growing up. And we went back there once just as like a fun ass date. And as we were leaving, he was like, I come back to this roller rink like with my hot girlfriend, and it's like, I always knew this would happen to me.
Was he a good looking guy? Did he have friends? I mean, he must have, if he was making money off his body, he must have been kind of attractive.
He was like weird looking because he was so short but so buff, but he had like a very
muscle
pretty
hamsters
face.
Was weird.
He was like, he looked like a half Japanese Tom Hardy.
Wow. Beautiful.
I'm trying to.
It was my type
picture.
at the time. Yeah.
Still.
I liked weird. I like weirdos. Whoever's weird. Sugar was kind of a weirdo. He lives in Beaverton now, and he got demoted at Trader Joe's. So
he still works at Trader Joe's.
Got demoted.
I looked at his Facebook like last year, and he's no longer in a management position.
Wow.
You guys ever say hey?
I feel like if I saw him, he would avoid me because I could file a claim against him.
My ex has been, I have to edit this out, but she's been liking the clips of the podcast I put on, and I'm like, is she gonna listen to the whole episode? Because like there's like 15 minutes where I complain about her.
She will.
I mean, I'm not asking this like there's one way to answer, but what would happen if she heard it? Would it be bad?
Well, I don't, nothing tangible, because we haven't talked in 2020 really.
It's weird to me that you still follow each other.
I don't follow her. She follows me. Yeah.
She's being weird.
They would hurt her feelings.
She sent me on my, so the whole thing, I'm going to give the super Spark Notes version of it. Let me check the time on the phone first.
Oh, my phone?
Oh, we're going to get 30 minutes on that.
Wow.
The short version of it was, we were in a long distance thing. We really liked each other, but it was just not sustainable. We were both so busy, and it wasn't like we had it wasn't like she was coming here or I was going to Chicago. And then also we went way too fast. So basically she was like looking for a way out and was miserable, but didn't have like the strength to end it herself. So I had to. So it was weird. I was like, I emotionally was broken up too, but I had to do the formality of it. And she somehow still held that against me, even though she very clearly wanted out. And then and it all hinged on her. Like she kept inviting me and uninviting me to this holiday party. Like,
this is perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just such a perfect example of the ambivalence you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she really couldn't register how she was mistreating me, or how like I'm canceling shows, flying across the country, and she's not sure she wants to bring me, and is telling me to make plans with a friend in Chicago as a plan B.
I see why you can't watch 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, and I was just and the thing is that she was going through a lot, and I always make up way too many excuses of like hurt people. Like, it's not her fault. She had a really tough, and I just kept making excuses for it. But the thing is I didn't know she had already moved on with somebody. And when COVID happened, I was still getting over her. I was still sad. And I was just like, I had gotten a message from a friend like 2 days before the lockdown that a lockdown was going to happen. Like, oh, I have a friend in the FBI. But I got like 3 or 4 messages from different people like that. And I was warning people. I'm like, hey, like, go get groceries, go get da-da-da. I didn't warn you guys because I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I let her know, and she was like, it was a very quick exchange, like, thanks, hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Derek already told me.
I got a raise.
He bought a bunch
You're
of
close.
toilet-
It's Jared, but you're close.
That is the same name.
It is the same name.
You can call me Katie.
Anyway, I think I'm going to cut that part. But she texted me happy birthday at 5 a.m.
Bitch.
So when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I had to see was a happy birthday text from her. And now she's like liking my shit. And it's just like, I don't know. She's a weirdo. I don't like her.
You should be friends with Derek Jared.
Derek Jeter?
Derek Jared? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think Natasha Vinnick is like really good friends with the ex of her ex, and they just bond over how shitty he is.
But you're cutting this out. Who is it?
Huh?
Who is that?
I don't know who she did. There's some
But pre-comedy, probably.
See, this is the difference between you and me. Is I would have been like, who are they and what's their Instagram? And I would know everything about them by now.
Okay.
But no, good for you.
Okay, well, I don't know. What do you think? That's weird, right? Why, like, a 5 a.m. birthday text while you're fucking dating somebody else and you want it out at, like...
I know what
as
that
soon
was.
as I broke up with her, she's like, can we stay friends? As soon as I broke up with her.
It's because she felt guilty.
Yeah.
She wanted to,
yeah.
There's something I heard, and I don't remember who it's from. Say in the comments if it's you. But it was like...
Me.
If you're...
That's me.
So I think it was a comedian on a podcast was like, they'll definitely listen to this. They'll definitely chime in the comments. They said that if you're the one who ends the relationship, you don't get to decide the terms you're on after.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
And it is hard because, especially if you don't hate that person, which like hopefully you are breaking up before you hate each other, you just want to go straight to being friends. As someone who broke up with Sugar 3 times, I've had this experience. I was like, I want you in my life forever. We need to still rock climb together. But you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I just went cold turkey, like, because
good.
it's just very, very shitty and toxic. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Cool. I don't think I'll end it on that note.
Wait, I'll say my story, which is that I was this will be quick, but I was playing Call of Duty with some friends. That's how I talk to friends now, and we were hanging out, and one friend was saying that how his grandpa was in the war, in World War II, and we were like, oh, what side was he on? And he was like, Germany. and so many questions, right? I was like, have you talked to him? And he said, I've talked to my dad about it. My dad doesn't like, because the grandpa's dead. He goes, my dad doesn't like talking about it. But look, like, he didn't want to fight for the Nazis. Like, he had a gun to his head. Like, he had no choice. He had to do it. They were threatening him. And it's like, isn't that, I don't know if y'all have talked to people who are families of Nazis, but it's a weird similarity, and it's a strange coincidence, rather, that every single Nazi after the fact had a gun to their head. Every single one. That's always the story, is like, oh, they made me. And it's like weird how they made a whole army. Pretty weird how that happened.
Nobody was on board the whole time.
Yeah, everybody's like, is this weird?
This seems bad, dude.
This feels bad. That was all.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, we'll cut that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you guys, it sounds like I'm asking you guys to plug something, but obviously nobody has anything to plug. So I don't know. Are you guys going on a fucking trip anytime soon? Do you have anything in the future even remotely planned?
Those are also canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we starting our Zoom show
Yeah.
again?
Yeah.
Yeah. It might get shot out in SF Weekly. I think we're gonna
that's
do a Zoom
cool.
show again.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're really close with the writer of the article, so they're probably going to give us a good write-up.
I'm writing an article for SF Weekly.
Because I think Cole Chapman works for SF Gate, and I was like connecting that dot for a second, because that's how we got Comedy Soup in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's different.
Cool.
But yeah, nothing. I mean, I'm hoping to get some short fiction up on my website soon. I've been working on some short stories, trying to do some funny little limericks and fables, if you will. So
No. Cool.
How about your limericks?
Like Reductress limericks.
Okay, cool.
Maybe that's what I should be submitting. Listen, I will make any piece of good news feel bad any way I can. And I'm already like, I can't believe they haven't published half of my submission packet. So it's like, of course, I've been all rejected in my second week, but I will try a limerick.
Cool.
I want to say, if we're going to plug the show, don't we need to share details?
Yeah, go ahead.
It will probably be 7 p.m. Tuesdays again.
yeah, check out our Instagrams, because we'll
On
post about
Zoom.
it.
Cool.
Comedy Oscar, follow it on.
We are running out of SD space, so thanks so much for coming, guys.
I'm really
And,
sorry.
Thanks, Meraki. Thanks, Murad. This was fun.
Cool. All right. Elegant end to the podcast. Cool.
Do you want me to say your full name correctly?
Meraki.
Your name's Murad Meraki.
Murad Meraki. Cool. Okay. Anyway, man, I've never really done a real intro because the other two podcasts were just kind of started. Like, I only realize now that I need to start introducing people. So anyway,